Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Thank you all to the new subscribers. Thank you all for showing your support by liking the videos, commenting, and sharing the videos as well. If you are new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. OneLove now has memberships available. As of right now, there are 2 tiers you can sign up for. The first tier is called the OneLove Fan. The perks that you will receive are loyalty badges that set you apart from the rest in the comments. You will also be able to use custom emojis as well as priority replies to comments. The second tier is called the Lovely Crew. The perks that you will receive here are the loyalty badges, custom emojis, priority reply to comments, member shoutouts. More perks will be added down the road. If you are interested in joining the membership, please feel free to hit the join button. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you have had a great weekend so far. To those of you who wanted to participate in the cash giveaway prize, please know that the post is already on the community wall showing you the directions of what you will have to do to have your name entered into the drawing. The drawing will be held on November 1st, so you definitely have time to go to the community wall and do what it's requiring of you to do so that your name can be entered in the drawing. But with that being said, we are going to jump into this live that Olivia did on Friday. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
I want to turn my AC up. Yeah, my car still does that. It's so funny because I can feel when my car's about to do it. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. You just drive normal. I feel like my camera is like off though. Okay. And then I guess the money. You guys are gonna drive with me home. Or not home, but back to where I came from. I just dropped the kids off at school. Hi Jen, good morning. I can't see everyone's comment. I'm sorry guys, my phone is shaking. Try to deal with it. We're still in the hoopty. We're in the hoopty until further notice. So yeah.
So as stated before, this was a live that she did on Friday. She did make reference to the live that we covered in the previous video where she said that she was going to be getting her children. So we're seeing right here that she actually did get her children this weekend. She's saying that she was driving back from dropping the kids off at school, which would be Ryan, Christian, and Robin. And she's headed back to her house. I'm pretty sure Stella is still there with her, and she's the one watching the other kids while Olivia went to take her other 3 to school.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, I'm gonna go then. Thank you. But I was like, let me go live and talk to you guys. I'm not going home right now. I have to run a couple errands, but I do want to get some coffee. Coffee would be nice. Maybe it could kind of wake me up. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, I don't drink energy drinks anymore. Like, I really don't. Can I go, or y'all gonna go? Can I go? Because there's like, the lights are messed up over here. So I feel, let me tell you the season. The season, maybe this is a season, I hope it doesn't last that long, but first of all, I gained weight. Okay, it's no secret, I'm sure you guys can see it on me that I've gained weight, but I've gained weight, okay, but I feel so fat. Like, I hate the way I feel, so I have to get this weight off of me. I have to get the weight off of me. I'm going through something. I'm going through something right now in my life. And I'm trying to decide how much I want to tell you guys. I'm just going through something. I'm going through like a phase. Anyway, when it comes to my babies, I feel so bad yelling at them, let alone hitting them. Girl, I don't ever hit my kids. And I'm talking about Robin, Ryan, and Christian. But I am going through something where it's like I feel bad even yelling at them. Like I feel horrible yelling at them, but I have to fucking yell at them. I don't have a choice. Like I have to yell because I have to get them to, you know what I mean? Mamas, you know what I mean. But and a woman that it's just a lot. It's just a lot. So what was my whole point? Sorry guys, I'm tired. What was my point of saying that? I was getting somewhere with that.
I think it's weird that Olivia starts out by saying she thinks she's going through a phase, but in turn speaks about how she's getting to a point where she does not want to yell at her children anymore, let alone hit her children. But then she turns around and says, well, I don't really hit my kids, I do yell at them. And then she makes it a point to stress that she's referring to her older three. Now, I think it's weird that she said that she was going through a phase, because that wouldn't make sense to use that phrase, that you're going through a phase because you're not wanting to yell at your children anymore. But what I also thought was weird was the fact that she emphasized, she didn't want to yell at her children anymore, let alone hit them, but then turns around and says, well, I don't hit my children. And then says, I'm talking about Ryan, Christian, and Robin. I do think that she tried to hurry up and catch herself with that, because why would you emphasize let alone hit them? That's like saying, I don't like yelling at my children, and I also don't like having to hit my children. But then she turns around and says, well, I don't hit my kids. So, like I said, I feel like when she said that, she changed it up really quick, because she didn't want to let it be known that she does hit her children, because this is the conversation she's been having over there for a while. She always says she yells at her children, she threatens her kids, but she never hits them. And I don't believe that. And there's many indications that Olivia does, especially with AJ. But I think also the reason why she's saying what she's saying right here is because of the conversations that we have been having over here when it comes to how Olivia speaks to her children. She's very impatient with them, and she's very short-tempered, to where she doesn't know how to just speak to her children with a normal tone, give them simple directives without yelling and cussing at them. And we have been having extensive conversations over here about the damage that can be caused by her continually doing that, especially to her two youngest. And so I think this is why Olivia is saying what she's saying right here, because she's listening to the conversations that we're having regarding the effects that it's having on her children and what it will potentially cause, all five of her children, with them having this as, something that they have had to endure from her, always fussing at them, cussing at them, telling them to get out of her face, just being very rude and crude towards them. I think this is what she's referring to and why she's wanting to say what she's saying right here.
I'm going through a phase, but I'm also going through other phases. I'm going through other changes, and just, I don't know, it's a weird time in my life right now. But I'm trying to figure out what the fuck was my point. What was I saying though? I was saying something before that. I hate when I forget what I was saying. Oh, it was a hell of a morning. Yeah, it was a hell of a morning. Christian and Ryan were in the back screaming at each other. Girl, I missed my damn freeway exit. Okay, so I had to get off the freeway some other place, take the streets the rest of the way to the school. Girl, oh my god. But I was super, super frustrated. But I just kept telling myself, we're gonna get through this. Like, we're gonna get through this. I have a lot of other things that I'm obviously on my mind too that I'm not telling you guys, but I'm not gonna get into it. But I'm gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. My kids and I, we're gonna get through this. It's just, there's so much, you guys. There's so much, and it's okay. We're gonna get through it. But I was also like thinking to myself, I was like, I've been thinking this way, like ever since I had court. Like, I've been thinking like, hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. I've been thinking like, well, this is it. You know what I mean? This is it. I talked to my stepdad. I talked to my dad. I talked to the men in my family. And they broke things down to me very well. But this is it. Like, this is it. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. You guys are probably like, Liv, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, like, this is it. Like, my life is about to change. And I'm not, as far as like how my life's been going, the change is not a bad thing. The change is like, kind of like putting things in order. Because I have to get in order when it comes to my situation. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to pay child support, I need to establish a child support that's actually doable. Because I don't have a problem paying child support. But I'm going to have a payment that I can actually pay. I'm going to start working. I'm going to get child care. Things are going to go a certain way. And I'm okay with that. You know, I was also thinking, you know, and I've been thinking like this. That's why I was trying to go to school. That's why I've been trying to figure shit out. But, you know, I want a job. Like, I don't want a job, I want a career. And I want, you know, I want certain things, you know, laid out for my kids in the future and everything. So, things are about to change. I'm not going nowhere. I'm always going to be doing my YouTube and shit, my social media. I don't know if it's going to be YouTube, TikTok, I don't know. But regardless, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm not mad at it, you know. I'm not mad at it. I'm just grateful that my kids are healthy and beautiful. They go through a lot of shit, like more shit than they should ever have to go through. But it's just the shitty fucking cards that we were dealt. And you guys, you know, a lot of my, like, guilt, because I have a lot of guilt. My guilt is like, and I need to get over this, and I think I'm working on that right now. Like, that's another thing I'm working through. I should have never left Florida. I should have never fucking left Florida.
One of the issues that I have with Olivia is the fact that she tries so hard to censor herself from just being transparent that it makes it difficult to really try to hear her out. Because as she's trying to talk and she's like, I'm not making sense, I know, because I'm trying to, you know, think of what I want to say, what I don't want to say. And that's the issue, because look, I have expressed so many different ways at so many different times when it comes to all of these mommies that I don't fault them for picking and choosing what they want to share. Because it's their right, it's their life. They should be able to come on here and share whatever they want to share. But when it comes to this situation with Olivia, she hides everything. And it makes it, and I'm not saying she's the only one that's like this. I think even when I look at Chrissy, her channel has hit like a, kind of like a stagnant. Because I feel early on, Chrissy used to be very transparent. She used to show more of her life, more of how she was with her children. And then it just became very much drama filled. And then she tried to change it up, and now it's like she's hit this place where it's hard for her to know which way to go with her channel. But when I hear Olivia right here speaking about what she's going through, but yet her conversation is very disjointed because she doesn't really want to speak on what exactly she's saying so it can provide clarity to the viewers, it just makes it not as authentic as it could be if she would just be honest and transparent about her situation. But what I gather from what she's saying that she spoke to her stepfather, she spoke to her father about the situation she's currently in, and I'm pretty sure it had to do with court, jail, child support, trying to figure out what she needs to do to fix the situation. And Olivia is now in a position where she can't keep playing around with the court system because there are extreme consequences that is at stake, and she's finally getting it. And so now she's wanting to gather resources. Now she's wanting to listen to what people are saying to her so that she can gain some type of organization in her life that would prevent her from having to go down a path that she really don't want to go to or go through. And it's her trying to find everything she can to prevent her from going to jail. And so now that she's starting to take this more seriously, now she's wanting to comply. And so she's saying right here also, I wish I had never left Florida to begin with. That is the guilt that she has, because she recognizes that when she was in Florida, when she moved into the house with the pool, it is debatable if she put down money to purchase the home, whether she was leasing the home, renting the home. I mean, it doesn't matter. She was in the house, and she made the decision to uproot her children once again to chase after Jerrod. And as a result of her doing that, we see how all of that transpired 6 years later. And so she's reflecting on what it could have been right now had she not made that decision. She would have still had her children. She would not have been going through what she's been going through these past 6 years. And, that is a hard pill to swallow. A lot of times hindsight is 20/20, and sometimes you do end up having regrets. Sometimes you look over the decisions you've made in your life and you wish had you had another opportunity to do different, you would. But this is her situation right now where she's having to really look at the movements she has made and the choices she has made, and she's having to deal with the consequences of that.
But it's okay. Like, I don't want to keep saying that and keep living that shit. Like, what's done is done. But I feel so fucking bad because of what my kids have to endure. You know what I mean? Like, I just wish I was stronger back then. I wish I was stronger to handle it. I wasn't strong. When I first became, I don't want to say anything regarding that person, but when I was first by myself, and I mean like by myself, like for real, like he literally walked out on us. I should have been fucking stronger. And I just keep like replaying that shit in my head, like, cause I'm so strong now. Like, I don't give a fuck about nothing, and I'm doing it on my own, and I'm independent, and but it took time to get here. But I just wish so bad that I was stronger for my kids back then.
Olivia, I know you love to use the word independent. I know you love how it sounds, and you love what it stands for, but Olivia, you are not independent. You're not. You have not fully arrived to being in a place of independence. Because when you are solely independent on yourself, you're not relying on others to help take care of you financially. You're not relying on someone to pay your bills. You're not relying on someone to always have to tell you what to do. You're not fully independent, Olivia. You still have some codependencies, especially with your mother. But as far as what Olivia is saying right here, I think that is a real thing to say. And what I don't understand, though, is why it was so hard for Olivia to just be honest about this. Because Olivia has gone back and forth. One minute she loved Jerrod, the next minute she was never in love with Jerrod. And it's like, Olivia, if you can't be honest with yourself, how do you expect anybody to believe what you're saying? I think it's real. I think many women can understand that pain. Many people can understand how that felt for you. For Jerrod to make the decision to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to walk away. Many women can sympathize with how that may have felt. And so for Olivia to say, I wasn't strong enough back then, that is real. And it's almost like Olivia is afraid to just speak her truth. Just be honest about what it is that you went through. The good, the bad, the ugly. Because that's where growth comes from. Growth comes from you being able to be honest about your experience. But I feel this is real. It's real to be able to say, I wasn't strong enough to know how to handle my husband leaving. I didn't know how to navigate that. And I just wish she would have been honest about this from the very start.
Because I wasn't. And I handled my breakup horribly. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was so fucked up. And I'm just mad at myself, you know? I'm just mad at myself. Because now the result of that is my kids have to live in this fucked up reality where their parents are two fuck ups that can't get it together. And it's like, it just hurt. It sucks, you guys. It really sucks.
I mean, this is the closest to accountability I have ever heard from Olivia. Because for her to say that she made a lot of mistakes in how she handled the breakup, and she's aware that she went through it in not the best of ways she could have handled it, and seeing that because of how she chose to go through it, it has affected her children. I mean, I can't do nothing but respect the fact that she's acknowledging it right here. And I'm hoping that this conversation doesn't shift into something different. But as far as right here, I have to acknowledge the fact that she's saying that she recognizes that she handled the situation horribly trying to go through it. And I'm going to say this. When you are going through something, you're not going to always know the best way to handle a situation. Especially if it's involving a relationship that you have invested in, you know, your time, your heart, you've invested all of these things. And I'm not saying that Olivia was an angel in this relationship. I believe they both made some mistakes. Jerrod has acknowledged his mistakes, and I don't even think it means anything at this point to say, well, who started what? Regardless of who started the cheating or what have you, they both admit to the fact that they both handled the relationship incorrectly. And as a result, the relationship ended. And I feel when you are in a relationship for a very long time, there's going to be some pain involved when you are severing that relationship. And I think in many ways, Olivia was more hurt by the situation because I think Jerrod played a huge role in her life in more ways than I think Olivia cares to admit. Jerrod understood her. Jerrod was aware of her issues, but yet he chose to stay and he chose to love her. And I think that's why Olivia has been having such a hard time in letting go of Jerrod, because she knows that he was the only one who really was willing to be there. Every relationship she has been in after Jerrod, I feel there was something in them that she was looking for that was resembling what she had in Jerrod, and she has not been able to find it. And I think it's extremely sad to be able to have to come to terms with the fact that you messed that up. I think she realizes she really messed that relationship up. And she, can come on here and she can try to make it seem like she don't want him. She can try to pick apart his looks and try to drag him and act as if, she's so better and she's so above him and she could never, would never. But I think that is just her way of making it seem as if she's unbothered. But deep down, I know it hurts her. I know deep down, if the opportunity presented itself where Jerrod was willing to go back to her, I truly believe she would do it in a heartbeat. So, I don't know. For so many reasons, I think this situation is sad. And nobody can really just say how to heal, how to really, fully let go of someone that has been such an instrumental part of your life. But the way Olivia handled the breakup, obviously, it was very dysfunctional. It was very toxic. And as a result, she also played a huge part in how she has affected her children's life. And so that's why I can appreciate the fact that she's saying, they both played a part in messing up their children's life. So, of course, Jerrod is doing what he can to make things right. He stepped in and he's trying to be the father that his children need. And I can't do nothing but commend him for that. But, Olivia is now finally in this place where she too wants to make things right. And I just wish it didn't have to take her 6 years to come to this conclusion. But as they say, better late than never.
It really, really sucks. And fuck up is an understatement. We're so beyond fucked up. But anyway, regardless of all of that, my kids are gonna be okay. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best from this point forward. And you always try to do your best and you always think that you're doing your best, but I don't think we're ever doing our best because, you know what I mean? Like, we're always going to be looking to top the last or top what we did before, top what we did the day before. Like, we're always going to look for progression and betterment. So, I don't know. That whole saying, trying to do our best, like, we are, but are we actually doing our best? We don't know, because we don't know what our best is. I don't think I've hit my best in any part of my life just yet. So anyway, guys, just reflecting on some shit, I guess. I'm just reflecting and I'm just like trying to just talk to old Liv. I just feel so bad for old Liv, but it's not the time. We don't need to feel bad for old Liv. I just, when my daughters and my sons get older, I'm going to talk to them about everything. I was talking to Robin last night, and Robin so smart. She's so smart. And I just, I keep it real with my kids. I talk to my kids, and I have to talk to my kids about everything, because they're lied to when it comes to the other side. They're lied to. So I keep my kids knowing the truth. Okay? There's no bullshit, straight, no chaser. Okay? It's just, it has to be that way. But having these talks with her now, like, she's growing up and she's getting curious about stuff, and oh Lord, it's just a trip. And it's like, I just told her last night, I said, Robin, no matter, I tell her right from wrong, but I say, when you get to that certain age where anything that comes up as you're growing up and as you're maturing and becoming a preteen, and then a young adult, and then an adult, I said, promise me that you're going to talk to me about everything, because there's nothing you can't tell me. You can tell me anything, and mommy is here to help you, whatever you need. So I just want her to know that, even when she's like 17 and she's like, I didn't say this, but when she's 17 and she's like, you know how we all get curious when we get older in our teens and whatever. I was just telling her, whatever you get curious about, anything, you tell mommy, we talk about it, and, mommy's here.
I don't necessarily have a problem with what Olivia is saying right here, and how she made it a point to say that, she's wanting to be very transparent with her children to let them know what's going on. But my concern is, what exactly is she telling them? Because I remember something that Jerrod said. He said that Olivia had told him that she was going to make her children hate him. It was something to that effect. I remember him saying that on a video or a live that he did on Instagram. And when I heard him say that, it wasn't that I didn't believe it. I definitely believed she said that. But it was just the fact that someone would go to those measures just because you're angry, that you would intentionally turn your children against their father. And I feel like you can't even really excuse that by saying, oh, well, I was just angry and I was hurt. No, that's not even excusable to say something like that, regardless of how hurt you was. Like, that's just something you don't do. That shouldn't even be a thought. But the fact that she voiced that to him, that said something to me. And so, although, I definitely do try to give credit where credit is due, I worry about the conversations she is having. I mean, of course, I'm hoping she's not being manipulative, or she's not lying to them, or fabricating certain things, or embellishing certain conversations she's having with them. I'm hoping she's being very honest, even when it comes to the part she has played as well. But I don't know, that's the one thing that really concerns me about her having these talks with her children about what is really going on between her and their father.
I think it's important for us to always be there for our kids mentally, because, and that's why I never agreed with that whole thing where you're not supposed to be friends with your kids. No, I'm best friends with my kids. Of course, I'm their mom and they know what's up, but I'd rather be their best friend too, because it's like, if they get, when they're 17, 18, 16, whatever, and they get curious about drinking, or they get curious about whatever, all that normal shit, instead of going and talking to another stupid ass teenager about it, come and talk to your mom about it. Come talk to me about it. No, I'm not going to say here's the bottle, but you know what I mean? Like, we could talk about it, and whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I think it's more important for us to be there for our kids than strangers. You know what I mean? That might lead them in the wrong direction.
The crazy part about what Olivia just said is she's solely thinking that strangers can lead her children in the wrong direction, but she's not even taking into consideration that she herself, as their mother, can lead them into a wrong situation or lead them down a wrong path because of the influence. Your influence is everything, Olivia, being their mother. How you carry yourself as a woman is all the influence your children are going to have as a foundational point. They're looking at you. They're looking at how you dress. They're looking at how you act. They're looking at how you treat people. They're looking at how you speak. They're looking at your values, your morals, your beliefs. They're looking at all of this. They learn from you and their father. Y'all are their foundation. And once again, you having this conversation lets me know you was listening to my video, because I spoke about how you are very abusive verbally, mentally, and emotionally. And so now you want to have this conversation about the importance of being aware of your children's mental. Yeah, that is very important, but what do you think is affecting their mental? What do you think is affecting their emotional aspect of themselves when they are constantly hearing you left and right, yelling at them, fussing at them, and cussing at them? You think that's not doing any type of damage, and you're sitting here having a conversation about strangers influencing your children to go down a wrong path? You're shaping and molding your children from the moment of conception, or from the moment you birth your children. You're shaping and molding them into the young men and women that they will become. And so for you to want to have also this conversation about you don't see anything wrong with being your children's friend, again, I beg to differ. Because there are different stages as mothers we go through with our children. I'm not saying that there will never be an element of friendship that will be there with your children, but your children have to see you as mother. They have to see you as being their mother, not their friend. Because if they're seeing you as their friend, 9 times out of 10, Olivia, they are not going to respect you. They are going to try to put themselves on the same level as you. Again, you have to establish boundaries with your children. There will come a time as your children evolve into young adulthood where you will still be mom, but there will be an element of friendship that will also be there too, because your relationship will transition into something different. But this is why your children don't listen to you. All 5 of your children do not listen to you because you're wanting to be their friend. All 5 of your children don't take you seriously, which is why you're always yelling and fussing and cussing at them, because nobody is listening to you. So I just think it's ironic that you want to have this conversation now because you're listening to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is valid. You need to establish your position as a mother in your children's life.
And I always have to specify with them the communication, because sometimes that's all we have. With the distance, with all the shit that comes in between us, all we have is, sometimes we don't even have that, but all we have is the communication. So yeah, the sun is rising behind you. I always too scared to talk to my parents when I was a teen. See, I was never scared to talk to my mom. I was never scared. Now, I was like ashamed. Like, I felt like, should I tell my mom this? Like, I never told my mom before I did things. I always told my mom after I did things. because I felt, I don't know, probably because I knew it was bad, but I did it anyway. You know, like, I told her everything, literally. And I was never scared to tell my mom anything. And that was a good relationship, a great relationship. Oh my God, my mom is my everything, because she allowed me to be open with her. She understood me. She valued my communication. She talked to me about it, you know. She never put me down. She never made me wrong. She never did any of that stuff. She always heard me out, you know. I had like an unlimited amount of communication. I could just talk to my mom about anything. And so yeah, and that's how I want my kids to always be with me. They are definitely like that with me, but I want them to always stay like that. You know how when they get older, you know, Robin's gonna be 12, so she's reaching into them teen years. So I'm just trying to stay on her, like, mommy's always here. I'm your best friend. I'm always here.
I think it's interesting that Olivia said that when it comes to the relationship that she has with her mother, that her mother never made her feel wrong. That really jumped out at me, because that tells me that your mom really does co-sign all of your behavior, the good, bad, and the ugly. That your mother never tells you that you're doing something wrong. Your mother never lets you know that there was a different way you could have handled a situation that would have been considered the right way. But I found that to be very interesting that Olivia said her mother never makes her feel wrong. And that's not how mothers should be to their children. You should never make your children feel as if they're not doing anything wrong. As a mother, you are supposed to properly and rightfully guide your children. You're supposed to be able to congratulate them when they're doing right. You're supposed to encourage them when they may be struggling, or they may feel as if, you know, they don't know what to do or how to do it. As a mother, we're supposed to correct them if our children are doing something wrong. There's a way to correct in love. You don't have to beat your children down and make them feel as if they can't do nothing right. But you most definitely have to let your children know that if they're doing something wrong, you have to explain that to them and show them the right way. But I find this to be very problematic, that this is the relationship she has had with her mom, which honestly explains a lot to me.
No matter what you go through, you know, she's starting to like boys and all that stuff, and that's all normal. And she talks to me about it, and it's good. I don't worry. It's crazy, guys, because my kids are going through a lot, but fortunately, they're all good kids. You know what I mean? Like, they're good. That's why I always say my kids are going to be good, because they had a good foundation. They had a good startup to their life. And thank God. Thank God. Thank God. My kids, we talk, yeah, and that's important. It's very, very important. It's more important than we will ever know. Anybody will ever know. Just that communication is so important. And like I said, we have our kids' best interests at heart. So why not be the person they come to talk to about stuff? Even if it's hard conversations, even if it's, you know, I find myself like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, is it like, are we really there? Like, are we really there? We have to have this conversation now? Like, what happened? You were just 6 years old. Like, I understand you're about to be 12, but I have to talk about this now? Like, I'm the one that's like, oh my God. But I'd rather her hear it from me than anybody else, okay? So, yes, we're gonna have the conversation.
So Olivia keeps alluding to this conversation she's going to have with Robin that she's not ready for, but she's willing to have the conversation with her because she doesn't want Robin to hear it from anybody else. So I'm assuming this conversation is pertaining to sex. Those are my thoughts.
Oh yeah, I did definitely have a good mom. And I grew up with a lot of kids who didn't have that. Like, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people did. I'm not going to say that they didn't, but a lot of my friends didn't have that. So it's like, it was a good thing. I was blessed. But if you guys out there didn't have that, you can always turn it around and you can be that type of parent, you know? You can give your kids that, and then they'll turn around and they'll give their kids that, you know? Patience and understanding.
Olivia, how are you in a position to be trying to have this conversation with your viewers? Patience and understanding? We literally just saw you fling AJ on the bed because you was irritated and annoyed with him because he revealed to the people that y'all were about to go pick up Stella from the airport. We have seen you push AJ, smush him in the face to get him away from you. We have seen you multiple times yelling, cussing, and fussing at them. But you want to talk about patience and understanding? Like, this is a joke. How many times have you come on here throwing out rude remarks of the women who are not agreeing to what you're saying over there? You have to imply that these are the same women that had horrible mothers. That they probably were beat on and, talked down to and yelled at and cussed at. This is the conversation you have all the time. And you want to come on here now talking about, it's okay, if y'all had, not the best parent, you have time to turn it around. Olivia, why do you think you can come on here and try to be soft-spoken with these types of conversations when you were loud and proud and being completely just evil in the things you were saying about this same conversation any other time? It's the fact that you think people just immediately forget the stuff that you say. That's the crazy part. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, girl, you need to take your own advice. Instead of you coming on here and trying to be soft-spoken in what you're saying to your viewers right here, you need to take your own advice. Because you are not in a position to be talking about this at all. When we see clearly how you are with your children.
They grow up fast. My daughter is already 10. Girl, they grow up so fast. So fast, you guys. I want to cry, but I don't want to cry because I'm too exhausted to cry. But so fast. I cannot believe. I'm going to cry. I cannot believe Robin is going to be 12. And it was so beautiful. I surprised the kids with my mom, and they walked in and they were like, "Grandma!" They were so excited. And then Robin and my mom were just hugging for like 5 minutes, and they're just crying. Oh my gosh. The bonds can never be broken. And that's what I'm so appreciative for. That's what I thank God for. The bonds that they tried to break will never be broken. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Time, distance, none of that matters when the bond is solid. None of it. Friday morning. I'm so sorry. I'm probably irritating y'all. I'm all with the deep thought. But you know, life is life, y'all. Life be life, and don't ever get it confused. I love my life. It got, I don't want to cuss. My life turned upside down, and my life is not the best life in the world, I guess, to everybody. But I love my life. I love
it. The many times you have come on here crashing out, getting drunk, crying, just a mess, but you want to convince the people that you love your life. Okay, Olivia.
I love it. I do. I'm so blessed. And I love how far I've come. I've come so far. You know? I'm so strong. I'm so strong. I'm trying not to cuss. Like, I shock myself at my strength. For real. Like, for real. So I just have to, like, think. I think God is preparing me for something big. Because ain't no way all this I've had to go through.
But see, that's the part you're not understanding, Olivia. You didn't have to go through all of that. You chose to go through all of this. Every bad decision you made led up to you having to deal with consequences of those bad decisions. Every time you had a choice to do the right thing or the wrong thing, you did the wrong thing. Therefore, you had to deal with the consequences of your actions. Every time you had an opportunity to be a good person and you chose to be a bad one, you had to deal with the consequences of those choices. So all that you have gone through is not because God purposed for you to go through it. You are going through what you're going through because of your choices, because of you being hard-headed, because of you being prideful, because of you being bitter and angry. This is why you have had to go through what you're going through. And it's very frustrating that you keep wanting to paint God in the background of where you are in life when God had nothing to do with it. Every time you was presented with an opportunity to do the right thing, that was when God was showing up. But you rejected him and you chose to do the evil thing. So God ain't gonna bless no mess, Olivia. So you inserting God into these conversations and you're not even having a right perspective, you're not even operating from a right point of view. And it's very frustrating to listen because you really don't know God. You really don't know how this works.
And I have to go to... I'm supposed to be looking at cars this morning, you guys. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But... should I tell y'all my business? Y'all want to know my trisness? If y'all want to know my trisness, give me to 100 likes and I'll tell you guys a little bit more of my business with the car situation. It was leading to the fact that I am accepting where my life is now. You know, for a long time, and even now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I still have like resentment and like, you know, because I've been through a lot. It's normal. Like literally, I've been through a lot, and a lot is an understatement. Okay, like an understatement. Okay, some of y'all with baby daddies who are not there for y'all, honey, that's the easy life. Okay, you guys think you have it hard? No, that's the easy life. Going through what I'm going through is unimaginable. Okay. So with that being said, I'm just all the aspects of it, as far as like all of it. I don't even want to get into it, but I'm just learning to take it, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Accepting where things are at this moment is a good thing, because it that in itself like heals you. It begins to heal you at that point when you actually accept it, and you know what I mean, all of it. I'm not just talking, you guys are gonna listen to me and be like, oh, she's talking about child support. No, I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Okay, when you learn to accept it, and I think that's when you get over the anger, the disappointment, the hurt, the drama, like when you get over all those other feelings, you finally get to a place where you're like, okay, well, this is what it is, and I'm learning to accept it. And it's funny because God will throw you things. It's like he'll rub it in. He'll just rub it in. He'll just rub it in because he has to do that in order to make you stronger, in order to help you. Like, it's like every single time I feel like the shit that I'm going through is rubbed in, like salt in a wound type shit. It's like after that, it hurts a little less, and I don't give a fuck a little more. You know what I mean?
Olivia, what? What are you talking about? See, this right here is another example when I say you don't know God. What kind of sense does that make? God will put you in situations where he will rub stuff in? He's rubbing it in. Like, what? Olivia, you are not making sense. Again, you keep trying to insert God into your situation when God is nowhere in the situation. Because you keep rejecting him. You keep doing your own thing. You keep going outside of who God is and what God would choose for you to do. So how in the world are you sitting here trying to make it seem like God is rubbing... Oh, Lord, I can't even have a real mature conversation on this because what she said made no sense. So I'm just going to leave it here. But Olivia, you're not making sense, girl. That is not who God is. God don't do stuff like that. Like, this is, oh my gosh.
Like, I'm like, cool. Like, it is what it is. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. But anyway, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be where I'm at because, yeah, this is where you want to be. You want to be in acceptance, okay? You done. Oh, you done. Oh, yes, girl. Yes. Yes. And I think that, I think when you really grieve a person is when you really understand that the connection. And I'm a deep individual. I don't know if you guys have noticed that about me. I'm a deep person. Like, I'm not surface, and I'm just very deep with my emotions. I'm like a true Cancer, like through and through, honey. And I can't help that. That's just who I am. So when I make connections with people, when I build bonds, when I let you into my life, I don't just let you go. That's a weird concept to me. But anyway, I don't want to say too much because no matter what I say and how I say it, people are always going to twist it to like something that I'm not doing. They're going to twist it into something I'm not doing. But when you really understand that a connection is severed is when there can no longer be anything. And for a long time with a certain person, I wasn't there yet. Not like I was like in a relationship type mindset, but I was still like, there's still a connection. Like, we can be friends, like we can co-parent, we can get along. But I am now understanding, like, for real, that will never happen. On my end, I will never offer that up. Like, it will never be an option. So that's when I had to really grieve and like mourn. And I'm not saying I'm doing it right now. I think I've done it the past couple months. But just accept the fact that, and not just for me, for my kids, because that changes their life, you know. it changes that for them too, because that's a huge thing to not have your parents ever speak again. But I'm telling you guys the truth, I will never open my mouth to that man again, and I'm not trying to be gross. I'm just saying I will never communicate words to him again. Like, I don't ever see that happening.
I do find this very interesting that Olivia is having this conversation, considering what I've said in other videos, but also what I just said earlier in this video. She's admitting to the fact that there was still something lingering there when it came to what she desired from Jerrod. Now, I don't believe her when she says that the connection that she was still holding on to was not a romantic connection. It was more so her just at least wanting to still be friends. I don't believe that, because Olivia forgets she played a recording, a month or two ago? And in the recording, she told Jerrod, if I can't have you. That was very intentional. It was very specific. There was no way you could read in between that. She said what she said. And she was implying that Jerrod knew what she wanted, and if she couldn't have him, and she cut it off after that part, but she was very clear in letting this man know that she wanted him. And it wasn't about friendship. It was wanting to be back in a romantic relationship with him. But, for her to say that in the past 2 months, she's been doing her grieving, she's been going through her grieving process. Again, it speaks to the fact that Olivia definitely still had love for this man. Even though she kept trying to make it seem like she didn't care, I don't care, she cared. And so I feel what she's saying right here is very telling. It's very telling. And, Olivia wants to imply as well that people are twisting her words. I can only speak for myself, though, when I say I'm not twisting your words. I definitely, listen to what you say, and I respond to it. I just think Olivia doesn't want people to really know what's going on with her. But I do find it interesting that she's at least being honest right here about the fact that she's been going through a grieving process, even recent, which proves the fact that this whole time she definitely still had feelings for Jerrod, which explains why she was always coming on here talking about this man, why she was always having to speak on him in a very negative way, because she's been angry this whole time. She's been angry at the fact that Jerrod has made the decision not to, go back to how it was with the both of them. And so, even when she spoke about her being deep and she's not surface level, again, she doesn't like that statement, because that is what I've said about her. She is, and you are, Olivia, you're very surface level. Now, are you deep in the sense of you are ruled by your emotions? Most definitely. You are very much ruled by your emotions. And that is why I said you needed to gain self-control over that, because that's not a good thing, to be led by your emotions. But when it comes to being able to express yourself, when it comes to speaking from an intellectual standpoint, you very much are surface level.
So yeah, I'm definitely there. I'm done. But yeah. Anyway, enough of that. My heart is it just hurts for my kids. That's all. That's not a fun situation for kids to deal with. It's not an ideal situation. And I never wanted it to be like that. That's why I tried so hard to maintain communication, But nope. I'm a Cancer too. This is definitely who we are. 100%. 100%. And a lot of people don't understand that about us. They think that we're hung up on people, or we're this or we're that. No, it's not that at all. Like, I was over this dude years ago. I had more kids. Like, what? I was done. But it didn't matter. I was still like, that hope that we could co-parent and be cool one day was a hope. It was a hope. You know what I mean? I hoped for it. And you know, let me say this too. A lot of me was feeling guilty about that situation too, but I've come to the conclusion that it's like, I don't have to feel guilty about that situation. Like, coming to the internet and saying anything, and in that moment I was hurt. I was done wrong so many times, and if I wanted to talk about it and expose it, I had every right to do so, you know? So anyway, I carried that guilt too, because I was like, you know, I fucked it up for my kids, but it's not my fault, you know? Everybody has to take responsibility, and everybody has to right their wrongs. I'm a big believer in, if you don't want people to know what you do, don't do it. And that's something I always told that other person, because that other person always had a problem with me telling what he does to me. And I always said, if you don't want people to know what you do to me, don't do it. But, you know, whatever. I think that everything happened the way that it needed to happen. And I'm grateful to God that everything happened the way that it happened. I just, once again, we're going to go back to the beginning. I just wish I was stronger, you know? And that's why I'm going to stay by my kids' side, all of them. And I'm going to be there through every heartbreak, you know? Because everybody doesn't take heartbreak like everybody else. Everyone takes it different. Some people off themselves. Some people take it however they take it, you know? And I just, you know, I actually said it to myself the other day. I'm like, damn, I took that shit really fucking hard, didn't I? Like, it's one thing for y'all to see it, but it's a whole nother thing for me to see it. And I'm talking about years ago. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when it first happened. A bitch was gone. I was lost, you know? And it's crazy. It's crazy now where I'm at to see myself then. Like, how could I be so lost? I had everything. I had everything I ever needed right there with me. So why did I feel so lost without a person who didn't ever care about me for real? You know? Like, that should be studied. Like, what is that with people? Like, why do we get attached to people who don't care about us? You know?
I don't think it was a matter of whether or not Jerrod really cared about Olivia. I believe he did. But I think the issue that Olivia has is she felt Jerrod was supposed to stay. Through everything that she brought to the table, through every mistreatment that she bestowed upon him, he was supposed to remain loyal to the soil. And because he had enough and he had reached his breaking point, she equates that to, he never cared about me. But Olivia, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody comes to a place within themselves where they say, you know what? I have nothing left to give. I have no more room to continue to forgive the same behaviors. I have no more room in me to stay in a relationship where I'm not happy. And you have to allow that, because you cannot expect for people to just take everything that you give if it's not serving them, if it's not building them up. If you're spewing selfishness and you're being toxic and, you're cheating and you're doing all these different things, you cannot expect a person to stay in that. It's not healthy. So again, I don't feel it's a question of whether Jerrod loved her. I believe he did. It's just Jerrod reached his breaking point and he could not continue in that relationship.
Why do we get attached to people who treat us so bad? Why do we feel like we can't live without people that, it's crazy. We sometimes look towards what ifs instead of what is. Yeah, and we try to see the best in people, I think. And yeah, but I did that with everybody. In my past. Like, I've always give second, and I'm talking about friends, people I was with, whatever the case may be. I gave people second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th chances with me. I always let people back in who didn't deserve to be back in, and I don't know. That's just how I am, or how I was. I'm not like that anymore. Girl, I learned.
I think a lot of people, it doesn't matter what your astrology sign is. I think a lot of people fall into the category of sometimes trusting the wrong people or, holding on to relationships longer than you need to. I think sometimes, also people give people the benefit of the doubt too many times. But, I think that's just something that we all as human beings have to really learn, because everybody's not for you. Everybody doesn't have good intentions towards you. And sometimes people can see the weakness and the insecurities you have, and they prey on that and they take advantage of it. And they use you as long as you allow them to. So, again, I don't feel this just falls under the category of cancers. I think that is just something that we as humans have to learn how to, decipher and really know how to, vet people in general. Because all people are not good people, unfortunately. And as the saying goes, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. You can't make excuses for them. You can't, turn a blind eye. You have to acknowledge what you see is exactly what it is.
You guys, and the moment you see something in somebody that's not right, you have to cut it off. That's it. But you learn to be like that when you learn to love to be alone. You know what I mean? A lot of the time we're walking through life and we're codependent and we don't even realize it, And the way you can find out if you're codependent, you have to ask yourself, can you be alone? Can you sit by yourself? Like, for long periods of time, not just for like a couple hours or a night. No, like, can you be by yourself? And I'm not talking, I'm talking to the people who need to hear this. Everybody doesn't need to hear this.
Olivia, those are not the only questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to trying to determine whether or not you are codependent. You should not have to depend on another person for the majority of what it is that you should be knowing as a grown woman, to be able to know how to navigate your life. You should be able to know how to do things and how to take care of things on your own without solely having to depend on someone else to help you. And as I've stated many times, you rely heavily on your mother for help.
But some people learn this stuff. I'm a late bloomer. Some people learn this stuff way before me. That's one thing about YouTube and being on social media. I learn. everyone is just so advanced and I'm just the only one going through anything. I'm the only one in the world.
I mean, again, it's the sarcasm that's not warranted. You have to make it seem like what people are saying about you is so left field, and it's, there's no credibility to what's being said. It doesn't make sense for you to say you're the only one in the whole world. Like, Olivia, why even say that? Because that makes no sense. No one is trying to imply that you are the only one in the whole world that does not have the understanding that you should have at 35 years of age. But again, you're deflecting from the reality of what is being said about you, which is valid. There are a lot of things that you do not know, that you should know. And, there is room for you to grow and evolve, but you come on here and you choose to act ratchet and ghetto. Again, it doesn't take away from the fact that the things that you display on this internet, it deserves to be spoken about, because you definitely do a lot of things that is very questionable. You do a lot of things that distributes wrong behavior, and your level of intellect, again, is not where it should be at your age. So to try to, make light of the situation, I mean, you're only hurting yourself because you just continue to remain in denial. So there was a little bit more left to this live. I just wasn't able to cover it in this particular video, but I may finish it up in the next one. So with that being said, I'm going to see y'all in the next video. It's OneLove, and I'm out.